You're not socialists, you guys are communists, and you guys are renaming it socialism. Now, the first thing that these people always talk about is abolishing the police. They never talk about abolishing the military, which they will then use against you guys, well, me and everyone else in the United States of America. So I think people really need to think about what they're voting for, because you guys are so pro take away people's guns and this and that, but they're never talking about abolishing the military.
Here's a serious question for you on the left. If you guys are so big on wanting to protect democracy and preserve the Constitution and everything else, and believe that everybody should have an equal say and all this other fantastic stuff that you guys pump out there, then why are you guys voting for people who openly endorse or openly say that they're democratic socialists? I mean, I have a feeling it's because you hear the word socialist and you jump all over it thinking that means free stuff and equal things for everybody. But if you actually look at the agenda the Democratic Socialist Party wants to push, it means rewriting and doing away with our Constitution completely doing away with two of the three branches of our federal government. So how exactly is that protecting our democracy and preserving the Constitution for everybody?
It's because you put this out on X on Sunday, and I said, get Michael on the air. You're talking about, you said that you're supporting Mike Rogers in Michigan instead of Abdul Rahman El Sayed. And you said this: I refuse to defend or support anyone with an SS Totenkopf tattoo simply because they had a D next to their name. I won't defend or support anyone who's too cowardly to stand up to extremists who think the mother of my best friend, who jumped from 95 stories because the alternative was worse, deserved what happened to her. Yet there are so many Democrats who are willing to give these folks a pass just because, hey, it's all about getting elected.
Look,
it's not about personal.
I want the Democrats to win. I think they're going to win the Senate. I think they're going to win the House. I want Chuck Schumer and Brian Schatz to be the next majority leaders. I want to do it without El Sayed. And that can be done. But this isn't what I signed up for. Totenkopf and SS and defending it and then defending. And Hassan Piker is just not the leader of my party. And it's okay for Democrats to say that. My old boss, Chris Matthews, was on TV this morning saying Democrats just need to do the hard part for politicians, which is sometimes standing up to your friends.
More moderate-leaning Democrats came out with a new pledge that they circulated among their colleagues in the House. And the pledge was this: we are Democrats. We support capitalism. We do not support socialism. That, Scott, I kid you not, that was their pledge. I mean, it is unbelievable. But this socialist infection of the Democrat Party by the DSA wing, the communist wing of the Democrat Party. They have taken over. And you're right. When AOC is leading the Democrats in the 2028 presidential race against J.D. Vance leading it on our side, it's going to be an epic battle between two totally fundamentally different worldviews about what America is. Is America good or not? And where America is going. And that's going to be on full display in 2028, but it's on full display in this midterm election in 2026 as well.
It's not an easy question. And frankly, I've got enough difficult questions at the federal level. But one thing that is not difficult for me, and that is there should be a wealth tax at the federal level. There should be a much more progressive tax code than the one we have.
Here's what I think, and I've been thinking about this for days now. The DSA has done a favor to non-DSA Democrats, to regular Democrats who are regular members of the party. They've listed what they believe in. Their chair made that clear. It's in Peggy Noonan's column this week. It's very clear. We're going to get rid of ICE, not just ICE. We're going to get rid of the border. We're not going to have a border anymore. We're not going to effectively control people coming in and out of the country. And so I think we're going to get rid of prisons. We're going to get rid of the Pentagon. We're going to negotiate. Well, what happens when your hostages are your former diplomats, like what happened with President Carter? People take your diplomats hostages. What do you do then? You need an army. You don't like to have an army, but you do need to have one. All these positions can be denied by any regular Democrat. All you have to do is go out there and say, thank you, DSA, for telling us what you believe in. I don't believe in that stuff. And discriminate, because you can't follow AOC. I like AOC generally, but she came out and said, we're just a big tent party. Well, the problem with the big tent defense is every Democrat has to defend all this crap coming from the left. They've got to say, I believe in all this crazy stuff, and that makes me a Democrat. You've got to say, no, I'm not a member of the DSA, and here's why, and make it very clear. So it's going to require politicians to be good politicians and say, here's where I stand. Right. This is what I'm a regular Democrat. I'm for labor unions. I'm for opportunity for everybody. I'm for civil rights. I'm for all the things I believe in as a Democrat, but I'm not with this crowd. And I think that's going to be a line that has to be drawn by Democrats, because I'm telling you, the last 6 weeks of this election is going to be an attack on El Sayed and the DSA in New York and the Mamdani, and it's all going to come out and blame every Democrat for everything the DSA is doing. I don't believe in the DSA plan. I don't believe in their checklist of what they believe in. I'll say so. But running for office is going to require that, I think, before the election.
I'm going to just keep saying it. We try to warn you all about these people and what they're up to. When you see people like Hassan Piker just running all over the place, he has become the voice of the Democratic Party. I don't know if y'all realize. See, well, he's the voice of the DSA. And so now, since AOC wants to say it's a big tent, that means he's speaking for all of y'all. And I know y'all don't like that, but he's speaking for all of y'all. Listen, I know a lot of y'all are saying we want to, we're going to come over here and support the Republicans. Don't listen. If you coming over here, please leave your bad decisions, your bad politics over there. Do not come over here and be no EBT Republican. I want no parts of the EBT Republicans. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them when you keep bringing your liberal mindset over here and then want to try to switch things. Don't do that. Again, these people are not playing with you. When he said AOC, he likes AOC, but AOC is saying it's a big tent. If y'all pay attention to what AOC is doing, AOC is trying to run for president. So she's trying to clean everything up right now. She's trying to say, no, she's not for socialism, but yet she was out there in New York running all over the place cheering for Mamdani, trying to make sure Mamdani got in office. So all of a sudden now you're not really into socialism. Since when? You're not into that type of when? Since when? Since you decided you're going to run for president? Absolutely not. Same thing. She was over there with El Sayed. So again, we are not stupid. And the problem is DSA members are moving through all different parts of the country. They're not saying DSA loud and proud like some of the real radical sounding ones, but they're there. At this point, if Democrats take over the House and the Senate, that means DSA is taking over the House and the Senate. I'm going to be 100, y'all. That is who's taking it over, because they may switch up the language to make Democrats feel comfortable. But let's be real. They are being Trojan horses right now. They're trying to make their way in to take over. The Lord says, use discernment in all that you do. You're supposed to seek wisdom in all that you do. Do not look at these wolves in sheep's clothing and then turn around and be like, no, but it's a sheep. Even though their fangs are hanging out, it's still a sheep. Even though they're attacking the other sheep, it is not a sheep. They're wolves. That is what they are. And they're trying to get into a place of power. Stop voting blue no matter who. At this point in time, y'all better turn around and figure out how to support some people that actually believe in America, because everyone in the DSA wants to burn down America. We want no parts of people like that hate America. If you hate America, then get out. We don't need you here. Go to one of those other places. We don't need you here. So stop listening to these people that keep telling you free, free, free. Someone is paying for that. You are more than likely paying for it, because I'm sure those New Yorkers who thought they're getting free, as these billionaires leave and these millionaires leave, y'all gonna be paying the bills. These people that are so hungry for power, they're not going to treat it like we're all one happy family. No, they're going to treat you like you are the slaves and the servants that they see you as.
AOC has come out and said that she isn't not only just a member of the DSA, she is an active member of the DSA. She's come out and said that. She just had an interview on that a couple of days ago. So that's out there. And then she tried to say that it was just New York, but then they asked her, well, what is New York? Well, New York is actually a chapter of the larger DSA. So you do believe in the things that they believe in. The other thing is, folks got to understand, because you are starting to see a lot of Black folks, kind of get on this socialist wave, because they're using candidates as faces. But people got to understand that 80% of the DSA are white radical communists that are upset. Most of them are college educated. They're upset. Celeste said it the other day that, whatever they thought this would be here in America for them, because they've amassed all this debt and so forth and so on, and they're angry. They can't be the elites that they want to be. So, hey, we'll just burn it down, and then we'll force y'all to look at us as the elites because we're quote unquote the educated. Mm-hmm. And that's ultimately, what they want. Somebody did a study the other day. You look at the DSA's program or their platform and what they want to do. They said it would cost about $200 trillion over 10 years. And they were like, where would you think that $200 trillion? We're already $40 trillion in debt. Where do you think this $200 trillion is going to come from? Precisely. And the thing is, they did it. They said, if you took not just tax, took all the money from the billionaires in America, that's not enough money. If you took all of the money from the companies, that's not enough money. If you did all of that, you still had about $130 trillion deficit in comparison to where they need to get to in order to push all of the programs that they would like to push. Their program, their platform, it doesn't work. Nope. It will fundamentally bankrupt the country, and we will be no different than any other failed state out there, like all the South American countries that have tried this, because there's a plethora of them. And all of those South American countries that have tried it, they're all turning back to capitalism because they realize it doesn't work. Hassan Pikers, y'all know that dude's worth $20 to $30 million.
Yeah.
This dude's not broke. And they're asking, well, when are you planning on giving your resources away? You don't have any intent on doing that. Rules for thee, not for me.
Absolutely right. The fact that they have gotten this far in American politics is an indictment on not only the Democratic Party, but it's also an indictment on the Republican Party and on the conservatives and everybody that's in politics. Because
the American people in general.
There you go. They should never have gotten where they are. And I think that we need to make sure that the Dems are not allowed to disown the DSA, that they are responsible for them getting where they are. But we all are in a sense. But we need to fight this, because this can destroy our nation if we don't nip this in the butt and stop this. This can go places where we don't want America to go. And I think that we need to take this seriously. And I think that every chance we get, especially on the public arena, we need to so thoroughly destroy them in conversations about this whole thing that they look shameful no matter where they go at. I think that we still give these people too much credibility. That too many people make them seem like they're making sense when they're not. Even these media that are asking them questions, when they make these dumb statements, do you notice that there's no real powerful pushback? There's no real, slapping them down. It's almost like you just let them express themselves. We need to go more than express themselves. We need to express how stupid they sound and how dangerous they are. Look at how they describe Trump. He was a dictator, a fascist. I mean, he was, all of these horrible things. Why aren't they doing that to these DSA people when they interview them on their shows? That's all I got to say.
Minister Denzel, I'm gonna push back on you a little bit.
Cool.
You are starting to see that. This is honestly, when it comes to the primaries, this might be the first time in a while that we've actually seen mainstream media actually show some journalistic chutzpah. Seriously, they have been asking the questions. They've also been pushing back a little more. We hadn't seen that in a while.
I agree.
This is the first time that we've seen it. The fact that there is any follow-up questions. I mean, you got to think, we had a president in office that would get interviewed and they were not allowed to ask follow-up questions.
No, you're right. You're correct.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So now at least they are asking some follow-up questions, asking them to clarify. Most of these people are flustered when they do because they're not prepared to answer the follow-up questions that come behind the original question.
No, you're right.
We're finally starting to see mainstream media actually do journalistic work. Finally.
But Wise, what I want to see them do is follow up with more powerful comebacks that will slap these people down. And that's what I'm not seeing. I want to see more of that.
Yeah, I think one thing we talk about it a lot. We Christians, spiritual warfare is real. People always think spiritual warfare is just you get in your church and you're praying and you're like, oh my God, the devil is attacking me. No, this is literal. It's a principalities of powers in high places. And see, what another thing that people don't understand is witchcraft. Manipulation is a form of witchcraft. And so a lot of times just going over everybody's head is because they're hitting them with the witchcraft. They don't know which way they're going. So when they hit them, they're like, hold on, did he say this? That's why they're twisting what they're saying. That's why they're changing what they're saying. That's why they're manipulating certain words and they're saying things a certain way where Minister Danzel, where the backup question can't really come because they don't really know what they really just said. So it's kind of like, okay, you said what you said, but maybe you're right, but maybe you're wrong. They don't even understand. They're confused. And because they're confused, they don't know how to move forward. They don't know how to change. As they're trying to change the narrative, they don't know how to speak the truth to whatever's going on right now. That's why when they say these things about Trump, all these different things, show me what he's done wrong. All these things you said about him, show me what he's done wrong. All the things that you're trying to put in place, you trying to take out of this way, you trying to clear the slate, because those that don't know what she said, I don't want to EBT people over here. She right. You come over here, what are you bringing to the table? A lot of us done been around a bunch of people that want what you have, but they don't want to put in the work. We don't want a bunch of people to come over here that don't want to put in the work. So now you're working harder because you done invited these people over here because you've been manipulated, because now they're putting it in front of you and they're manipulating you in a way where you don't even understand the manipulation. That is witchcraft. It's not no voodoo, voodoo, voodoo. That's not witchcraft. Witchcraft is you being manipulated in your face and you don't even know that you're being manipulated. So therefore, you don't have a follow-up question to the fact that you just got hoodwinked. You just got played. You just got tricked. And now you sitting over there like boo-boo the fool, like, you know what? And like you say, Brother Wise, the American people just pushing it. You know what? We do need something different. Do we? What's broke?
You know what's really scary? You have people in some of these churches out here that are pushing this socialist mindset, this socialist propaganda. In some of these churches, you have pastors that are pushing this. They're allowing these people to come to the church and speak to their congregations about how you need, Medicare for all, and how you need, the government in every aspect of your life, and every they won't tell you that you need Jesus in every aspect of your life, but they'll tell you that you need the government in every aspect of your life.
Clip that you showed, one of the news people asked him that, don't you know, are you saying that you don't need a military, and so that was a good question. But my question is, like, why aren't they saying, are you aware that what your policy is asking for is to destroy America? I mean, that type of vernacular is not, I'm not hearing that. Are you trying to destroy our nation?
They don't have to ask that question because these people out of their own mouths have come out on video and said, we're trying to destroy America. You don't even have to ask the question.
Well,
they've come
you're
out
right
of their
about
own mouths and said it.
You're right about that. But when they're interviewing them on their programs, they don't bring those clips up to them. See,
Some of them
I haven't seen it yet.
There's been a few. There's been a few that they have. I've been following this and I've been watching it. There's been a few situations where they have come back and been like, hey, y'all just had a whole video about, wanting to destroy America, wanting to, destroy the Constitution, so forth and so on. So there are some that are pushing back. Others are a little tougher than others, but it is happening. Mainstream media, this is the most that I've seen from a quote unquote, what they're supposed to be considered professional journalism.
No, you're right about that.
This is the most that I've seen in a while from those folks.
You're right about that.
The media, if they want to prove to us that they are trying to do journalism in earnest, they need to say, this policy is intended to destroy America as many times as they said very fine people on both sides.
Come on.
They need to say it exactly that many times, because that is how you will make sure that the public knows that these people are trying to destroy America. The same way they wanted to make sure that the public believed that Trump said very fine people on both sides in the context they presented it. I think the media and the Democrat Party and the leftists. There's three groups who are all in this under the same tent. That's the big tent. If you want to name who's in the big tent, it's mainstream media, the establishment Democrats, and the leftists. And I think because the establishment Democrats and the leftists are
you gotta call them what they are, Celeste. Don't be nice to them. They're communists. This the communist wing of the Democrat Party.
Right. And the communists are in a death match. That's what they're in. This is the battle royale. They are in the fight to find out who will control and who will take over the apparatus of the party. That's why there's been no donations to the DNC. That's why the DNC is broke and they having to mortgage their own building as collateral to try and have a midterm elections. That's why, because they basically said, no, we're playing for keeps here. And the poor media has become schizophrenic. It doesn't know because it's used to getting all of its orders from the establishment Democrats. Right. However, most of the media itself is communist. They are the same age as these DSA. They went to the same schools with these people who are now being drafted as candidates in the DSA, and they are friends with so the media is going through a period of schizophrenia, which is why you are seeing slight pushback, but no real interrogation. Because on the one hand, they don't want to upset their bosses, but on the other hand, they're secretly hoping that the communist takeover of the party succeeds. And that's what we are watching. Now, for us, I have always said that the most important thing to do in any conflict and the first thing to do is duck. So for us, duck. Try not to catch any incoming. That's the most important thing we could do. Stay on message and don't catch any incoming. Because with all those wild swings and flailings that are going on over there, a few blows could come this way. So we have to be very aware of our posture, our message, and what we are doing. But what we are watching is we are watching the death knell. And the only reason the media, James Carville, Bill Maher, people like that are coming out to say that they cannot support the party of Hassan Piker is because they're terrified of losing the midterms. Because in the end, what we have found out about Democrats to be true is that they don't really have an ideology beyond power. That is the ideology of the establishment Democrats. The communists have a real ideology. It includes power. Power is central to it, but they actually have an ideology. The establishment Democrats' only ideology is you seize power so you can steal money. That's it. And so you can funnel money. And the communists are saying we're seizing power so we can funnel money. We want to funnel our money based on our first principles and our ideology about where we think money should be redistributed to.
I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts about any of this? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family, or you can buy your brother a coffee, or you can hit that Cash App. The link's in the description box below. I appreciate you guys supporting what we're doing over here. And as always, keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.